Hello everybody. Today we will understand first aid. So first aid, as the name suggests, is a first help that is given to a person who suffers an accident, injury or any sudden illness. The aim or the objective of first aid is to save life by preventing further injury and moving the patient to a medical doctor in the minimum possible time. Now let us understand the principles of first aid. The first one is initiativeness. That is, you have to take the initiativeness to help the person who is there in emergency. And then remaining calm. Don't get nervous. Study the situation and remain calm so that your brain works onto what to do. Check the breathing of the casualty, whether the casualty is breathing. Check his or her heartbeat and check for bleeding. Assess the level of consciousness of the casualty. Observe the surroundings for any further injury to the casualty, or see that you are also safe while helping the casualty, and inform. Now let's see some of the common injuries, emergencies and their management. We have sprain and strain, fracture, dislocation, cuts, drowning and heart attack. Now let's see one by one. Let's understand sprain and strain. Strain is injury to muscle or tendon. You know that tendons are the structures which connect muscles to the bones. And sprain is an injury to a ligament. And you know ligaments connect two bones together. So here in this picture you can see this is the joint, knee joint, and here you can see tendon strain, where the tendon is injured. It is known as strain. In the right picture you can see ligament sprain. You can see ligaments connecting two bones in the knee joint, and here when there is a tear or cut in ligaments we call it as sprain, and when there is a cut or tear in muscles or tendon we call it a strain. Management of both strain and sprain is through RICE therapy. RICE, here R stand for rest, I for ice, C for compression and E for elevation. Whenever there is a strain or sprain, RICE therapy is followed. First of all, provide rest to the injured part for at least 48 hours. Apply ice for 20 minutes at a time. Be careful that you apply ice by wrapping ice in a cloth. Never apply ice directly onto the skin. Compress with the help of a bandage to help reduce swelling of the injured part. And then elevate the injured limb 6 to 10 inches by keeping it over a pillow so that it remains above your heart level. The next injury is fracture, which is a break in the continuity of the bone. It can be a crack or a complete separation of bones. Fractures can be open or closed, single or multiple, etc. Open fracture is the one in which breakage is visible and blood comes out or bones comes out. Whereas in closed fracture, the skin is intact but the bone is broken. Management of fracture. Immobilize the fracture site with splints. Any stiff material can act as splint. It can be a folded newspaper, pillows, wood plank, cardboard, etc. While immobilizing, see that the splint outstretches the limb or fracture site so as to properly immobilize it. Never move the fracture parts, as important nerve and blood vessels move by the side of bone and it may rupture. You can reduce the pain through painkillers, and in case of spinal fracture be very careful and without little movement move the patient in prone position and take him immediately to the hospital or call the doctor immediately, and while moving see that his body is stable and is not moving. Here you can see the fractured part is immobilized by keeping a splint, a cardboard piece, and then tying with clothes In this way you can immobilize. The another way is doing like this, by keeping a rolled up newspaper and with cloth make a sling and keep it like this so that the fractured site is immobilized. Another common injury is dislocation, which is the displacement of one bone on another at a joint or place of motion. It usually happens in shoulder joint, hip joint, elbow joint and ankles. Here you can see a dislocated shoulder. Nerves and vessels are in close proximity to most joints and are likely to get injured during the process of dislocation or by an act of commission of an over-enthusiastic first aid giver. Therefore, be very careful, and it is advisable to splint the limb in whichever position it is lying and shift the patient to a hospital as soon as possible. Another injury is cuts. This is a deep cut of the skin affecting fatty layers or even deeper as a result of blunt force or sharp object. Here you can see the example of a cut. Here, wash the wound thoroughly with soap and water, with running water, so that any dirt which is present there can be removed, and then apply some antiseptic cream. If there is bleeding, apply pressure on the cut site for 2 minutes, and then you will find that the blood will stop. If not, then again apply pressure for 2 minutes. If there is damage to nerves or tendon which manifests itself by numbness, tingling or non-stoppage of blood, medical help should be sought. All facial lacerations should be shown to a surgeon to avoid ugly scars later. Development of fever, marked redness, swelling and pus, which usually takes 24 hours to appear, indicates infection in the wound. It needs medical consultation. Now coming to drowning, a very common thing which happens in Kerala. It happens because of inhalation of water into the lungs. This causes spasm of upper part of the larynx, which blocks the airway. Quick action is required from the part of the first aider to save the life of a casualty of drowning. The airway should be cleared by turning him on his abdomen or by lowering his head. The use of Himmel's maneuver may be helpful in expelling water from the lungs. However, it is required only if the upper airway obstruction is suspected. If the airway is open, time should not be wasted to expel water from the lungs. Himmel's maneuver can be applied by pressing the abdomen in this format, so that if any water is present in the lungs, it flows out through the mouth. After clearing the airway, mouth-to-mouth breathing should be started immediately if there is no breath, and if there is no pulse, CPR, cardiopulmonary resuscitation should be started. Another emergency is heart attack. This is a life-threatening emergency. The chest pain may vary from a slight feeling of pressure to a sensation of chest being crushed. The pain often spreads to one or the both arms, shoulder, jaw, neck or upper abdomen. The pain is unrelated to any activity and does not subside even after rest. If there is a heart attack and the pulse is stopped, immediately CPR or cardiopulmonary resuscitation must be started. CPR should always be practiced on a dummy. If you come across a person who has suffered an heart attack, just make ensure that whether the person is breathing. You can do this by moving your cheek closer to the person's nose. If the person is not breathing and if there is no pulse, you can go for CPR. First, you have to give chest compression. For this, you have to keep one hand on the sternum, keep the other hand over your kept hand, interlock your fingers, make your elbows straight, lock your elbows and give 30 chest compressions in this rate. Count for 30 chest compressions and see that the chest compresses for 2 inches. and then tilt the patient's head backwards, open the mouth, pinch his nostrils and flow breath into his mouth for 2 times. So 2 artificial respiration and then again followed by 30 chest compressions. Continue doing this until medical help arrives or the patient become conscious or start breathing.